stalks you at every turn.
Grandpa?
Well, it does. Ah! There it is! Death!
It's only Maggie.
Oh, yeah. You know, at my age, the mind starts playing tricks. So, ah! Death!
That's only the cat.
Oh, ah! Death!
That's Maggie again, Grandpa.
Oh, where were we? Death!
Do you know? Do you know this? I mean, nothing's really changed in. Sorry for the audio listeners here, for the video listeners, nothing's really changed in the backdrop here. But do you notice something that's missing that was on the floor? There.
Something that's missing on the floor. Your big Primark bag.
It's gone. Yeah, it all went back. Gone. It all went back.
Apart from that one that you're wearing.
No, I got this. I got this for my birthday. This is.
Oh, it's that. Oh, I've just saw it because I could only see.
This is the mystery.
I could only see Freddy on it.
Yeah. This is great. Although apparently,
of course,
the printing isn't great. Like it's starting to get a bit bitty in the wash.
Oh.
But
wash it inside out. That's what you need to do.
I love it. I think it's a great. Is it missing anyone? Maybe Pinhead.
I don't think so.
For the era.
Maybe Pinhead.
But
see,
he's not a slacker.
I've got maybe a bit of a hot take with this because in any of these sort of things, we'll do a big garish thumbnail. Shock, horror. But I personally wouldn't include Ghostface on these things where you get any sort of merch where it's like the horror icons or whatever. I mean, although arguably legit has earned a place, has stood the test of time, but when you're surrounded by Freddy and Jason and Michael, I still feel like Ghostface is the odd one out.
Maybe you keep them in different eras. Like I associate your Michael, Jason, Freddy. I'm blanking. I'm gonna have to look at the shirt in the mirror now.
Chucky's the other
Michael, Jason, Chucky, and then I'll put Pinhead, like the 5, right? Let's say 5 there for your 70s, 80s. Maybe we do an era. We do the 90s.
Well, I suppose they're all 80s, aren't they? They're all 80s.
Yeah, well, Leatherface and Michael Myers 70, but late. Yeah. Cool. But then you could do like an era, like the modern era. So you got Ghostface. You could now definitely, I think, add art.
Yeah.
You know.
Do want that.
There'll probably be a couple more. Maybe the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
think so.
The sequels weren't amazing, but the first one was very impactful.
But you're also just without. I mean, well, Billy the Puppet, Jigsaw. I suppose to be your other.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, there are some, but there's not as many.
There's not as many. There aren't as many. So on the subject of Art the Clown, though, we've got a teaser coming fairly soon, I believe, for part 3. Yeah,
well, we haven't in England because England never gets this shit. Like I
follow
the
royal horror community.
I speak for all of us in the horror community over here. I mean, I am wearing a shirt with many horror icons. It means I love horror.
Yeah. How you tell.
You follow all these accounts on like Twitter that give you the news update, like such and such film is now showing in cinemas. You know, it's been re-released in cinemas. Oh, it's America.
Yeah,
it's not actually this never happens in England, really.
Well, I'm gonna add a little extra like bone of contention to this because if it is England, it will be fucking London and nowhere else.
As we've established in the last week in this shit show of a country, nothing exists above London.
No, they don't want anything to exist above London.
By the way, folks,
slowly just being cut off.
Folks, this is a very, very anti-Tory podcast / show / corporation. Fuck the Tories and anyone associated with them. Yes, but yeah, Terrifier 3. When Damien Leone actually said, "No, you're not getting a teaser. You're not getting a teaser. You're getting, shall we say, a trailer teaser."
Yeah, it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes, I believe. I mean, it'll be on YouTube. We'll be able to see it.
Well, that's the thing. it's only being shown in selected cinemas in America, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But are they going to be like cam rips? Because are they going to release the teaser?
Well,
are they going to wait a bit?
I
maybe?
mean, there'll definitely be cam rips out there because I believe it's only selected theaters that are showing Terrifier 2 reruns, isn't it?
Yeah.
That it's going to be shown. So somebody will. There will be some crap mobile phone footage or whatever on there.
Yeah.
But it probably won't be that long before it gets an official release on there because, you know, that's what you want, innit? Get it out there.
I'm really curious as well because I follow Lauren LaViera, who played our female lead. That name escapes me for a second.
Escapes me, but I also follow her as well.
She was fantastic in it. I thought
so fantastic. Neither of us can remember what she was called.
She was so good.
Faye
she was
or May
Sienna.
That was my next guess. I was getting there.
Mia is 2013 Evil Dead. So yeah, I'll give you that. And they are both the female persuasion. So
both women. Yeah.
There's a common theme.
Easily to they all look alike.
They're all the same, aren't they? Yeah. We are not like that, folks. Yeah, this is going off the rails. But I follow her and the director on Twitter, and she's not said anything like about filming's wrapped on Terrifier filming. Like, there's no indication that she's in it. I assume the story would continue because their families, I feel, was quite important with art from the last film.
We're certainly led to believe that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like the missing father figure is absolutely involved in some way. Possibly is even art.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't care if we just completely ignore that and ran with a new story.
Completely brand new story. Yeah.
Just whatever. Just sack it off. We've done that. That was only relevant for that story, and then we just get a third installment that does something else.
Yeah, because it's kind of really art story. Like, you've now got the pale girl, who's a completely new factor in his story. He's just a head now, if I remember rightly. She picks up his head at the end. But yeah, I mean, like Terrifier 2, $250,000 budget. They think they've got he got a way higher budget for free. It's the only place that showed Terrifier 2 in London was Prince Charles Cinema, which is great cinema in London. But and I think we went to see it about a year ago when it came out, about a year ago. So wow, that's flown by. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. We'll definitely do a little thing on that. For sure. There was. Welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. It's episode 50 something. Blah blah blah. I'd say 57. It probably isn't 57. I'm Tom. This is Aidan. Right, back to what were we talking about?
Not only was that the longest cold open ever before we've actually officially started the podcast, but now we're just not even attempting to tell you what episode number it is.
It's on the thumbnail. It's on the title of the episode. I figured if you've been here long enough, you know who we are. You know how this works.
Does it matter? Does it really matter what number it is? It's like, have you heard this one before? Then carry on listening.
Yeah.
If you've not heard this one before, rather, carry on listening.
Actually, it's not number 57. I'm not going to listen to it. I got it wrong. Anyway, back to trailers. There is a new Red Band trailer for Thanksgiving. An extended trailer. I haven't looked at it yet. But,
no, I haven't looked at it yet, but I have seen it popping up. I'm not rushing to. I'll watch it at some point. I'm not rushing to watch it. I don't think.
I am, but I'm rushing into it more than I am to see The Exorcist Believer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I was waiting for you to start to mention that.
Oh yeah, we're getting onto that.
It's gonna absolutely bomb, isn't it?
I wish Freakin' was still alive to see this. Man. I wish.
So does the director.
400 million. 400 million for a new trilogy. And I think it has made, I just saw what it's made on its domestic opening. Let me just get that tweet back up.
It's on a 30 million budget.
Well, it's a 30 million budget, but how much they paid for it is what's pretty wild.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it says here it's expected to make between 30 and 36 million in its opening. So that's just making its money back.
It ain't gonna do that. It's
mean,
not gonna do that.
But that's not a great ambition, is it? Like, it's expected to make its money back.
I mean, so many of the, like, I've seen a mixed bag of reviews, but for the majority, they're very negative. And a lot of the points that have been put across are Ellen Burstyn is wasted. It's cheap jump scares. It completely misses the point of what The Exorcist is.
Yeah.
The point of it, you know, like how Father Karras has such a big story, a part of the film. It wasn't just about being scared.
Yeah. Yeah, it says it has already disappointed studios. Oh dear.
And this
Not
is what's
angry, just disappointed.
This is what's terrifying about that news about Halloween being up for grabs, and if Blumhouse get it. No, not Blumhouse. Sorry, no. So it wasn't Halloween. It was Friday the 13th. Halloween is Miramax or A24, I believe. We're eyeing up, but Friday the 13th. If they get Friday the 13th, give it to David Gordon Green again.
When are we getting the Crystal Lake series? Is that?
Oh, I don't know.
Any further?
I don't know, but it's so unnecessary.
I mean, it is, but you know, talking about people taking on franchises and continuing them. Yeah, I mean it's an awful idea.
I mean, when we watched the trailer for Exorcist Believe, we really weren't. I mean, I don't think we were that hyped at all.
No, I watched it again, and it was growing on me a little bit, but seeing it, it's subsequent sightings of it or mentions of it, and it's been a decline. I think
it's safe to say we won't be doing it on the podcast. What we can do, I'm definitely going to see it, and
I want to go see it.
What I think we should do at the end, what we did last year, do like a 2023 wrap up. We'll just talk.
In that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it there because there's a few other films I want to check out from this year. Like I never saw Megan. I want to see Cobweb. Talk to Me. So there's a few that slipped under the radar.
Same. I've not seen Megan yet. Again, not one that I was immediately drawn to, but after seeing the reception for it, I'm quite keen to go back and check that one out. I think.
Yeah. So yeah, Exorcist, Blunder. Well, yeah, that was the best I could come up with on such short notice. We'll discuss that later on in the year, but for now, yeesh, big yeesh. Was there anything? Hang on a minute. All right, part 4. This is before we get on to our next film.
Oh my god, it's another Nightmare on Elm Street hoodie.
It's also really small. This is the biggest I could find. Look, if I go.
Oh really? Oh yeah, that is small.
Look at it.
I've already seen there's other layers.
No, you haven't.
So what
no, you
else
haven't.
Have you found?
So this is just Tom is modelling a very tight Nightmare on Elm Street hoodie from Primark again.
It is a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow.
That's the episode title.
Wow.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Now, I do believe.
Yep. You've got
what is it?
New Freddy that nobody liked.
Yeah, isn't it in the remake? He's an actual paedophile.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is awful decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I think the difference is it's explicitly said. I don't think I mean, he's a child killer.
Yeah.
In
He's a
the
child
originals.
molester.
He's a molester.
He's a
child molester.
I'm so happy you got that
I
reference.
love Freddy Got Fingered. It's an absolute banger. It's one of my favourite films ever.
Proud. Make you proud.
Proud.
Make your daddy proud. Proud.
Ian Fitzgibbon's son's a doctor and my boy can eat a chicken.
I love Freddy vs. Freddy Got Fingered is amazing.
Absolute banger.
By the way, I'm getting these out of the way now because I'm boiling.
Yeah, let's do it. And like I said, I've seen that you've got about 8 layers on. Yeah.
This is probably the worst one, I think.
Oh yeah, that is like half finished.
It's like they just found the images on Google and just
Slapped them on a white. I mean, I'm guessing these are all Primark, yeah. There is, yeah. No, there isn't. I mean, there isn't another store that's just suddenly decided to wang out some Freddy vs Jason merch. But yeah, nothing on the back. Yeah, that's it's
like
just very.
My left breast and my right kidney kids on the
Yeah,
back. Right
it's
hip.
where you place the paddles if you're using one of those automated.
Yeah, you're right.
Things.
It's not much. There's much to really talk about. It's a white. It's a plain. It's a nice fitting white. I'll give it that. It's a good fitting white shirt, but it's awful. It's awful. This is one of the worst ones.
No, that is crap.
Oh,
that is like we need to do one more.
In case you didn't know what it is. Yeah. So that's that, and then for the finale.
Yeah, it is. It's like
the last
we need
time
to
I'm
do
doing
one
this.
more thing. Is this the? See, that's
Speaking
all
of
right.
Garish. Shut up. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Of the lot, that's the best one. So
Embossed.
that's a red embossed Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy's claws coming through. Oh, it has got some stuff on the back. Yeah, Never Sleep Again. It kind of has like 90s wrestling t-shirt vibes.
Yeah, you mix it with the yellow. I feel like I'm Hogan here.
I thought you were going to unveil a McDonald's. some sort of Mac merch.
Take your vitamins.
Yeah, the red one is. I mean, I still left it in store when I told you about it, and I was like, I'm not getting it. It's rubbish. I won't wear it. But
yeah,
it's the best of a bad bunch, I think.
I don't like things on the back of the shirt, and I don't like things on the just have a whatever it is on the front. I'm also not a big fan of this textured
rubbery
texture. Yeah.
If I wore anything other than black, I might consider getting that one. But out of the collection as a whole, still baffling and largely rubbish, I think.
There you go, folks. I have for science, I have tested 6 of Primark's quote unquote horror Halloween collection, which is just it's so specific. It's very weird. As we've said on previous episodes, and since we found out about that, I found out about this and was fascinated by it. Freddy vs. Jason, not considered one of the best in either franchise, although I do have a soft spot for it. Remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, which again everybody hates, and rightly so. And then that's it. Well, then Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas. There's a bunch of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff in. Yeah, there is.
And I think some of that's all right. I've not looked at it in any too close detail.
The thing with how specific it is, it's not like
it's
okay,
really
we've got Halloween coming up. Let's get our horror collection out. Okay, well, let's do something like this. You know, let's just slap.
Well, yeah, that's it. They could have done
famous faces.
They could have
together.
done some Freddy stuff, a couple of Freddy things, a couple of Jason things, a couple of Michael things, something with everything on. Yeah. But to just pick 2 poorly reviewed, it's like I said last week. It's like someone somewhere opened a warehouse and realized that they had a bunch of leftover merch and thought, what the What are we going to do with this?
Yeah, pretty much. Right, I'm getting this off. This is definitely it, I promise.
I don't trust you. I want to see what this yellow thing
Don't worry, it's a Street Fighter top. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Don't worry.
I thought it was the Garbage Pail Kids at first then. I was going to say that's sick. I love that.
Oh, no, we're all good now. We're all good. And so I returned them, and then I saw the others. And I was like, oh, I need them. I need them.
I mean, when I saw the red one the other day, it did make me stop and think, oh, maybe. But then I was
I'll
like,
post it to you.
don't. No, you won't.
Oh, right. Do you have anything else you'd like to bring to the table?
Or just one thing, and it is only quick, and I'm not going upstairs to get mine, but Tesco are selling some rather nice distressed classic Exorcist logo tees at the minute.
Is that the one you sent me? They sent me a picture. I didn't know you bought it.
Oh, I bought it. Yeah. It's a big one because they had either a size too small or a size that I knew was going to be too big. So I went, not being able to leave it, I went for the too big, and didn't realize till I got it home just how kind of ridiculously too big it is.
And that's a keeper.
Because I can't find the receipt, it's going to have to be a keeper. Otherwise, I might have taken it back and tried to get a size that will actually fit me. But yeah, it's good. It's good qual, sort of, not quite acid washed, but so that sort of faded grey, black. You know, it looks like it's been through the wash a few times, and it's got the nice classic priest outside the house silhouette. You know, that classic Exorcist shot that everybody knows. Good. It is. It's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's in our Discord chat now. The picture you sent me, but it's not like not as bad as the first Freddy vs. Jason hoodie that I bought, where you can literally see the outline of the graphic.
Oh yeah, no,
it's a bit more blended, right? It's yeah,
it's good. It's good, good quality print.
Dude,
they also randomly had a bunch of Simpson stuff in there as well.
Yeah,
it was completely out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting to find anything, but yeah, Tesco men's clothes, random Exorcist t-shirts.
Did they have any else other than Exorcist, or did they get the rights to the Exorcist line? Primark got Freddy vs. Jason.
I think that's what it was. Again, just somebody had a bunch of excess Exorcist t-shirts. Yeah, no, there was nothing. There was a couple of shirts that had they had some generic Halloween stuff. I got the skeleton one, the long sleeve skeleton one. That's also from there, and there was a shirt with pumpkins and witches' hats and other general Halloween paraphernalia. Yeah, when I say general Halloween, I mean, you know, the holiday, not the franchise. But The Exorcist was the only movie store stuff thing that I saw. But that's just my local Tesco. Who's to say that, you know, there was more. There will be more other branches.
Yeah, I'm very interested in checking these out. I'm interested in checking out, I don't want to say shit merchandise, but obscure horror merchandise now.
Obscure horror merchandise. Well, to be honest, tomorrow I might go to the Asda and see what their menswear department's got. Like, the supermarket menswear department seems to be coming through for the obscure Halloween merch. So, let's check them out.
What about the middle aisle of Lidl?
Has been dry of Halloween related things until I saw a TikTok earlier. They've got a bunch of Halloween related cheese in.
That should go with our Halloween related wine when we get it.
They've got a black garlic roasted cheddar in there, and they've all got like punny Halloweeny names. I'm clearing up tomorrow. I'm gonna go and get everything we've got.
Man, that would fit so perfectly with the horror 19 Crimes wine. Our horror wine and horror wine and cheese.
Horror cheese. And then have a horror heart attack. That's the plan. That's how I'm celebrating.
Tesco.com. Sorry, folks. 19 Crimes red wine with the skeleton on the front.
Yeah.
Add to the basket. Hello.
That's the
right.
one I've got. That's the
That
one
was
I got.
yes. Okay, but we want the Frankenstein and the Dracula one. That's
we want
the
this
problem.
Frankenstein and the Dracula. We can't.
That's
find
what we want. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. We're gonna look for some obscure Halloween clothing,
it.
horror
I mean,
clothing.
if you find any obscure horror merch, let us know. Drop us an email.
I will.
Drop us a line.
They will be on the Twitter as well and the Instagram, because I'm gonna put pictures of all these Primark amazing pieces of their collection up on Instagram
All these hoodies.
very soon, and the TikTok. We're on TikTok now, but I've already put some of them up on TikTok now, which you can find, which is _Dreadcast. Same for Instagram and Twitter. Find everything there, all the good stuff there, and who knows, in the future there might be some Dreadcast shirts coming out. Who knows? I have no idea. I'm just putting it out there for who knows.
That's a good idea,
Isn't it?
We could do our own Freddy versus Jason stuff, but it's us as Freddy and Jason.
I talked to you about this off camera, but I have ideas for
Okay.
illustrations for us.
Okay.
I have an artist at the ready.
Oh, that's good because I can't draw for Toffee.
Oh
So-
no, these are going to be good. These will be good, but we'll talk about that later. Yes, lots of things to do. Yeah, social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and the TikTok, where all the cool kids are these days. Not sure if you've heard about it, but it's pretty big.
Pretty big.
The Dreadcast. You can find basically clips, funny clips, quick clips of each episode each week. This week I've just been posting the latest Primark collection, the schedule for October, and whatever. It's not going to be major videos, major like.
It's all about hooks.
Yeah, just
hooking.
go check it out. Go
Hooking
check it
you.
out. Go check it out and be part of the Dreadcast community. Now,
Lovely.
I while I was going down that ramble of social media stuff, I was really trying to think of a good segue to today's film.
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah, we're talking about Final Destination. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, you don't normally
I
do.
don't know. I'm not very good at that. Oh,
Not everything has to have like a witty, clever segue. Sometimes we can just say, right, we're going to talk about the film now.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have made it this far in a half hour. I doubt anyone makes it.
I mean,
this
you
far.
really, really like this movie if you've stuck through all of that preamble ramble that we've gone through.
The way you say that, Final Destination 2000, #1 out of a big franchise. When was the last time you saw it?
I mean, prior to the pod, probably around about when it came out. So it was this was 2000.
Yeah.
So
probably on
early 2000s, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly.
It probably came out on DVD, I believe, probably later that year or 2001.
Yeah.
That was a big DVD booming point.
I probably watched it. I feel like I watched it at university, so it'd have been 2003, maybe 2004, that sort of time when I started uni.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I around the same time I watched it when it came out on DVD. And then maybe I've watched it once or twice before. But the Final Destination 2 and probably 3 are stuck in my mind more than this one. Apart from the opening of this one, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. In my mind, I think I've seen the first 3.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen the first one. And it was after I finished watching it last night that I just scrolled, just had a look at the descriptions, because I think most of them are on Amazon, which is pretty good, because I'm probably gonna get through a couple more of them. Yeah. But I just had a look at like the write up and the little trailer for 2 and 3, and instantly was like, oh yeah, 2 is the one with the truck.
Yeah.
3 is the one with the roller coaster. So it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen the first 3. I feel like 2 sticks in more people's minds.
Yeah.
Because I think it was that bigger, badder sequel. And
yeah, I think what I came out with away from this film was that this franchise shares a lot of similarities to the Saw series, in which people, I think, are more interested in seeing the creative kills.
Yeah.
Similar with Saw, like, a new Saw film came out. Okay, what they're gonna have? What contraptions? What crazy deaths are we gonna? The story's there, but I think the majority of people that are going to see this, rather than not just talking about crazy horror fans that are like, yeah, I love Saw, just public that are going to see this film, they're interested.
Yeah.
They know of Final Destination 1 and 2. Oh, okay, so it's about, Death trying to catch up with the people that have cheated Death. How's he going to do it? How's he going to get them?
I mean, that's exactly it. If we get it all, cards on the table and get it out up front early doors, you're exactly right. The story is that it's very simple premise, and you've got a bunch of sequels to churn it out.
Yeah.
And I found when I was watching this last night and making my notes, that I was reviewing the kills, which is not something I normally do when I'm making notes and stuff. But I was like, like that kill. My favorite is probably this. Oh, that was a good one too. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It does. It feeds on that that sort of entertainment shock value. How far are they going to push it? What they're going to do? And it absolutely works more for this. I think absolutely works for this more than it does for me personally. I think it
does.
Works.
Yeah, because with Saw, you're getting something gritty and gears and industrial, and for the most part.
Whereas this is a lot more fun. I mean, ridiculous and outlandish.
Oh god, yeah.
But fun. And I was thinking about it last night. I've never really considered it previously, but I was thinking about it last night while I was watching. I was like, why do I like this? Because I'll spoiler. This is great. I had a lot of fun watching this.
I like it. They're enjoyable.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And the reason is, it's the build a better mousetrap phenomenon. You know that old Tom and Jerry episode where he makes the mousetrap, and it's like, a hammer knocks over a ball that'll roll down a thing and knock over some dominoes. And people do it all the time on TikTok, on YouTube and stuff. They make these machines knocking onto the cause and effect.
Yes,
and this
we did one.
This
I made one.
over.
I made one at uni. Rube Goldberg machine.
So yeah, I think that's what it is. And it's that. It's the violent murder equivalent of violent death equivalent of that. I found myself just going, oh, the water is trickling across the floor, and he slips on that and pushes that in, and then that comes down, and yay! It's like
you got a time limit as between when the death starts and when the kill happens to work out. Okay, what's it going to do? It must do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly endlessly more entertaining than watching, your 135th camp counselor like being stalked through a wood.
You're right. You're right.
It's like we know somebody, because it's the same. Look at it in that respect. Somebody's going to die at the end. We've got point A at the beginning of the scene and point B, somebody's going to die. But how in the Final Destination movies, how you get from point A to point B is endlessly more entertaining than another like stalking around a dark, hot, spooky house, or any of those sort of classic trope situations.
I completely agree. And I think again with the Saw, when Saw 1 came out, I mean it was a couple of years after Final Destination. I think Saw was 2003, 2004. But I can always appreciate it when a fresh concept comes out and really delivers on that concept. Not a fresh Ghost concept. It's still Ghost. Final Destination was fresh in a way.
It was something different, something very different. Again, really quite a simple premise. And I may be wrong when I watch some of the sequels, but my memory of this is that although the deaths are ridiculous, the probability of these things happening is ridiculous, but there's still a element of plausibility there. Like, it could happen, at least in the first one. Like, you've more chance of winning the lottery 15 times in a row than this sequence of events actually unfolding. But it's like freak mechanical failure leads to this, leads to that, leads to the other. I feel like in the sequels, there's like a bit more of a forced supernatural element. I distinctly remember there being a scene, I think it might be the second one, in a dentist surgery where a gas trap just turns on. And I feel like as the sequels went on, they kind of just went like, yeah, death is more of an actual physical presence, and he's turning on that tap, he's turning on that gas, he's turning, flicking switches, and whereas this, it's like a valve. This is the moment that a valve is just going to suddenly start leaking, or
you're right.
The bolt's going to shear. Like, again, as I'm not saying it's realistic in any way, shape, or form, but in an infinite monkey typewriter kind of situation, it's not physically impossible.
No,
for these things to maybe happen.
You're right, and from what I don't remember. I watched the series maybe 2 years ago. I just went through them, but I keep going back to it. I remember the Final Destination films similar to how I remember the Saw films.
Yeah.
What trap was from which film? Oh,
well,
where was the crucifix trap? Oh, Saw 3. Where was the roller coaster kill from? Oh, it's Final Destination 3. There was, I think, the opening of 4 is a NASCAR event, and the opening.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell.
It's not good, that film. 4 and 5 are not great.
Yeah, well, again, I think it definitely went sequelitis, and it started chucking them out too quickly for me. And as I've said several times previously, as soon as those sequels start coming thick and fast, my interest wanes very quickly, and I'll basically ignore it. But NASCAR does ring a bell.
And 5 was a suspension bridge, just imploding on itself, basically. Like they do get a lot more absurd. And I was doing research and bits and bobs for this film. There was a review, but I can't find who wrote the review, with a quote saying how illogical, like, it is illogical. Yes, you're right. And I don't know if that was meant in a derogatory term to the film, a negative way for the film, or just stating what it is. Because if they mean it in a negative way, it's kind of missing the point, because it is illogical. We're talking about a supernatural entity called death that is causing all of these things. It's not real.
The Grim Reaper. And it does have more of a physical presence than I remember.
With the shadows.
Well, with the shadow.
Same. They do the wind. The wind is always a tropey thing for death, but especially in the female teacher, Luton. I can't remember her. I think it's Luton.
I never actually caught her name.
I think it's Miss Luton.
Miss Luton.
There's a point where she's looking in like a mirror because she senses something's going on. You see, the shadow just. And she
it's a kettle. It's the reflection.
Oh, it's in the kettle. Yes.
On the stove. Yeah. But she reacts to it. She definitely sees it because she is visibly shocked by it.
So you've only. Go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, death is almost like a ghost. It is, and there are times where there is a lot of haunted house kind of elements to it, with doors shutting and opening, and like you say, the wind and stormy nights and things like that.
You said you've only seen 1, 2, and 3.
I've definitely seen 1 and 2. I'm fairly certain I've seen 3, but I can't really remember any. I just remember a roller coaster, so I'm assuming I've seen the rest of it.
Do you remember in 3 the tanning bed death? The 2 girls in the tanning beds. That's one of my favorites. That's clever.
It's ringing a bell, but
they get trapped in tanning beds. It turns up. They get roasted, and then it catches fire. It's great. It's so silly. It's great. But I think I prefer the opening to 2, the highway scene, to 1. But the thing with 1 is that, now this is going to sound really silly, and even for me, a somewhat grown adult, But you're a little bit older than me. When one came out, I probably saw it when I was maybe 11. Very way too young to see it. But I think my dad had it on DVD. He was like, "Oh, you got to we'll sit down and watch this." Specifically, he wanted to see my reaction to the bus scene.
Oh right, yeah.
But I remember, you see the opening scene of one, the whole airplane scenario, and then it blowing up. Very close to the events of a year later at 9/11. A young teenager's mind gets wrapped up in that. Paranoia sets in. Yeah, it was scary to go on a plane, and even though this is fictional, it's like I'm not. I was trying to think as well. How many pieces of media, like film, TV, are there with like plane crashes, inside the plane exploding? Like, remember Lost had it at the beginning. If you ever watched Lost,
yeah.
This is probably one of the most visceral, one of the most disturbing, graphic ones, I think. And
it's pretty,
real.
it's pretty full on.
Yeah,
it's
and I think
full on.
that really had an impact on me when I was younger. Like, I'm quite scared to fly now because of this, but it's not real. It's just a really good telling of, I guess, what could happen. Because, like you said, this actually feels believable, the plane one.
Well, so much. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't necessarily thinking of the plane scene, and more the subsequent deaths. But that's not to say that the plane isn't believable. I mean, I've never been in a plane crash. I can't say for certain that is what would happen. But it's very. It is very visceral. A lot goes on. It is like that's something's bursting over there, and then the masks fall down, and then something else pops off, and then there's a fire happening, and then the wing comes off, and there's a hell of a lot goes on. And again, talking about, like you mentioned with the second one and the traffic accident at the beginning, that's the same. That really is like pow pow pow. There's just things are happening one after the other, and it builds up into quite a crescendo.
I've definitely seen people make a meme of taking a picture that they're driving behind a lorry with logs on. They go,
which is why I think the second one is a more memorable movie for most people, because I think, I mean, I'd say most people, or a lot of people have been on planes, but I think probably a lot more people have been in traffic behind some sort of unruly,
whether it's metal or something,
wagon load or something. I was in a car crash where an Arctic lorry changed lanes and hit us. So.
Oh shit!
Yeah, thankfully no one was hurt. It was fairly minor speeds involved and stuff, but still, I was a little bit wary being alongside big lorries on the road for a while. So yeah, I can see, but I think more people would have had an experience of that.
Did you then wake up and then it didn't happen and you avoided it?
But that's that's the thing. But it's there's a lot of great foreshadowing in that opening scene.
I wrote that down. This film is the king of foreshadowing and paying off for the most part.
Yeah, it's really, really good. We see right down to just the tiniest little details, like the make of the fan.
Yeah,
it's his tail fin.
Yeah,
or, it's an aeroplane related word, and it's just, I loved it. I really, really liked it.
Doesn't the I guess death kick off from Alex's mum, Alex, our main character being played by Devon Sawyer, by ripping off,
as I referred to him throughout the movie.
Oh yeah, of course, Stan.
Stan in the
or our lead from Idle Hands episode coming in 2 weeks. From his mum ripping off the tag of their suitcase, their last flight tag, and Alex saying that's a superstition, you should keep it on.
Yeah.
That's what kicks
it
off.
He says that first, I think, doesn't it? She goes to take it off, and he says, "No, it's it survived the last journey, so it's good luck to keep it on." And then she takes it off.
But I love noticing that, because I thought I don't even remember that scene at all.
No, same. I think
I must have just glanced it.
The earliest bit I remember is basically him getting on the plane and having the dream.
Yeah.
So I couldn't remember any of that pre.
I thought it was just
stuff.
a that was just it. The plot, just this was Death's plan. He cheated it, and now we're on the road with the ride of Death trying to catch up with him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize there was a catalyst to this whole Death's plan.
I mean, yeah, I guess we never find out if that is exactly definitely what happened, but arguably yes, there is a catalyst, and that's it. That is the butterfly's wing that sets into motion.
She did it. She blew
or
up that
potentially gave him his sort of ESP in regards to terrible accidents, because he's something of a clairvoyant with it. Obviously, he has the dream that everything's going to go wrong, and fair play, like is switched on to it, because he scrambles into that other seat, and the first thing he checks is the little knob on the tray and realizes that it's broken, and it's exactly like his dream. I don't think I'd have been that switched on. I'd have just gone, yeah, I'll swap seats for you or whatever, gone and sat down dead. That'd have been it. Game over for me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you think about, you know, your dreams in general, right? A dream when you're in REM sleep, you only remember, they only last for, say, 7 seconds, apparently. You only remember snippets of it the next day, and then they're pretty much gone. I don't think he fell asleep when he first got to his chair in this. So I don't think he was fully asleep. It was just a vision while he was awake.
Maybe.
Like, it's not very clear. But it must have been so clear to him. So, like, or it's weird. Like, you can really look into it. Either that was his reality, weirdly, and then something just snapped, and he's like, "Whoa, what? Where am I?"
He's
like,
back where he,
yeah,
back at the beginning of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but a couple of things that I feel like we should mention before we get any further.
Oh yeah,
is how threatening the dad is before they get to the airport. In the scene with the luggage tag and everything, his dad says something about you've got your whole. He's like you buddies. You're going to Paris for 10 days. You know, you've got your whole life ahead of you. But the way he says it is so threatening. Like, it's really, there's a lot of needlessly aggressive people in this film.
We'll talk about Carter in a bit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
People want to fight for no reason at all. It might be some of the awful music they listen to. But yeah, Dad is very, very threatening. And then also something that was a little... the teacher, needlessly aggressive to the Hare Krishna, handing out the leaflets.
Yes.
Miss Luton.
Yes.
Like,
I
just
forgot about
tells the Hare
that.
Krishna to go fuck himself or whatever for absolutely no reason. It's just rude. It's just pure, like, aggressive. How dare you give me a leaflet? Like, sling your hook. It's so bad.
Well, our other teacher is like, monsieur, bonjour. Having a great time.
Well, as Miss Luton tells him later, he's all about that French thing.
Yeah, he's all about it.
You've got that whole French thing. It's like, what, speaking French? French? Like, he's a French teacher, presumably.
Yeah.
He
doesn't really seem like invested in it that much.
No.
As a job.
But then the other thing is, ahead of a 7-hour flight, your mate comes up to you and asks if you fancy going to take a dump with him. What do you do?
I can't say I've ever had a request made like that. I see what he's saying. I understand.
It's fair point. Fair point. Can't fault him. But in my cinema of the early 2000s, I didn't realise to get not one, but 2 scenes of our main character on the crapper within the first 20 minutes. Or one of our main characters, sorry.
What's the other one?
The next one is Todd in the bathroom.
Oh, of course,
the first
yes,
kill starts with him actually using the facilities. So
they wanted to ramp up the toilet fact from Psycho. It's like, no, we're gonna show you lots of it.
2,
yeah, 2
technically 3 because we've got 2 people in that first scene.
But
going for a buddy bro boom boom moment. It's a little bit weird.
next to each other as well. You know
As
the
well.
rule. You know the
Yeah.
rule. You skip one. Same with
That's
the
the thing.
urinals. You skip
Yeah.
one. And I don't know. I've started
As
so
Brits, we're
I've started
a
so I'll
little bit more
finish.
repressed.
I've started so I'll finish. I might be a bit of a nervous pooer. So I don't want to do it with a mate next door going, oh, that sounds awful.
I mean, that's
mate.
the thing. I think as Brits, we're just generally a little bit more reserved. Generally, don't like to announce that that's what you're doing. So, like, yeah, the concept
It's-
of your best bud coming, hey there, guy, let's go for a poo together before we go on this really long plane.
I can't think what film it is. It's a comedy film, last decade or two. And there's a toilet scene, a really gross toilet scene. The main characters in the toilet having a bad time, but there's a truck driver or hillbilly in the next one, and he hears these sounds. He's like, "We're in this together, buddy. Come on, you got this.
That's
you got
Austin Powers.
That's it.
That's Austin Powers too.
Where he's with Mini-Me. Yes, that's it. When he's with Mini-Me, trying to flush him. We're in this together, buddy. Come on, you got this." Like, I appreciate the support, but I just no.
Yeah,
silence, please.
That just I had to mention it. I couldn't leave it go. I could because it was
You had
it was
to. You just
a
had
little
to
bit-
talk about it.
a little bit weird. But yeah, then we get really aggressive. So Alex is Alex.
Yeah, I mean,
Alex Browning. So Alex or Stan has his little. I am going to refer to him as Stan. It's
Yeah.
easier. Is Stan in all my notes? So, so Stan has his little vision, and then he wakes up and he's a little distressed. And well, that's selling it short. He starts freaking out that the plane's going to explode. And is it Carter? Did you say? Immediately, his reaction is to throw down in the plane, like.
Yes. Yeah, he freaks out, and there's a couple of people there trying to like, "What's wrong, Alex? What's wrong? Are you okay? You okay?" And he gets up like a fucking hunch this guy.
He flies for him. He goes for him. Now, is that supposed to just be a quick way to set up that there's history between them and they're not friends, or is he like actually reacting that way? Because the next, like, obviously they get kicked off the plane, and that's what sets up the rest of the movie. But there's like 3 attempts of him going for both of them sort of going for each other in that.
I don't think
that
we
airport.
can really read too much into it, because you look at when this came out. This is 2000, all right? This is my era. I've said this many times. I love this era where we late 90s, early 2000s. This is very much Faculty, Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Final Destination. This is what these were these stereotypical characters in these films. You always had them.
Hybrid Theory had come out. Everyone was all hopped up on that Linkin Park music.
October 2000. That is a perfect film. Album. Sorry, that is a perfect album. Hybrid Theory. I won't hear a bad word said about it.
It was the new metals. Getting everybody feisty. We just had Woodstock '99. There was leftover tensions from that.
It's this guy right here. But I think the point is they really emphasized on there's different stereotypes around this era, and pardon me, Not Another Teen Movie. I love it. Caught this perfectly. It's like, you jocks over there, you horny cheerleaders over there, and you loser nerds over there. We always had the nerds, the jocks.
Was that supposed to be it then? Because I couldn't tell them apart as being.
I think he's the jock. And his girlfriend is the popular. He's the roid rage jock, popular kid.
And Alex was supposed to be what, like a little bit nerdier? Because I just thought they were guys. I suppose it's Hollywood nerdy.
Outcasty, sort of cool rocker sort of nerd, maybe, yeah. Like, because obviously the thing is, when you're casting around this time, you can't cast Stifler as Billy in this, who is the opposite of Stifler.
Yeah,
the complete opposite.
It did send me down when Sean William Scott pops up.
Thank you.
It did send me down a rabbit hole of what happened to Sean William Scott and where is he now and why do we not see him anymore?
Oh, I think he's doing all right. I think he actually did an interview a couple of years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he is doing all right.
But yeah, the
I think
casting.
he stopped doing quite so much movies.
The casting is very much. It's not an excuse. It's just, I think, a reasoning. It's very much of the time. It really is, where they really honed in on those stereotypes. Because I think you also had a lot of, the 90s teen sitcoms as well had them all. So they're called the tail end of that. Yeah, but he is either roided up or he's just an angry. He's always angry.
He's very
angry. Angry.
The shortest fuse of anybody ever. And so, you fell asleep, I'll fight you. Them's fighting words.
What did he think was going to happen? Like, if he's going to punch him and the airline, the staff are going to be like, thank you for your service. Thank you. You can go to first class now, sir. Thank you. Yeah,
he's getting an upgrade because he took down the hysteric man in road in the D24.
Yeah, more champagne, sir. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what. And did you also notice Junior David Duchovny as Todd's brother?
No.
Yeah, he looked just like David Duchovny. Hang on.
Oh, really?
I'm not having you not be aware of this, okay?
Oh, so it's not actually David Duchovny.
No. And he dies in the plane. He's not.
Actually, according to IMDb, the original concept for this, it was going to be an X-Files episode.
Yes, that was what I was about to lead on to.
Is that what you were getting to? Okay.
That was a happy accident in my notes until I did the research and saw, hang on a minute, this was a minor script for an X-Files episode before it got picked up for a film. Hang on, this is so important, folks. I mean, he doesn't look like him now, but oh my god, look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Send it in Discord. Look at this David Duchovny fucker.
Oh my god, yeah, that is uncanny. Right? I did just skip over this guy. Absolutely, look at him. Completely.
Maybe
he's like a airbrush David Duchovny.
Maybe they hired him as like a tester just to see if it could be an X-Files.
I tell you what he looks like. He looks like a David Duchovny action figure.
He does.
If you made Dave, is there? Find me a picture of an X-Files Mulder action figure. There's got to be one.
Got it. Oh, you found one. Oh my god, it's. Oh boy.
I mean, that is just the first one that came along, but but what I mean is he looks very smooth and sort of waxy and youthful.
Very smooth. Yeah, he looks like he's about to melt. Yeah, but he obviously gets wiped out in the plane. He's Todd's brother. And Todd, the guy actor that plays Todd, I noticed is in Saw 6. He plays the main cop. Yeah, not the biggest thing, I guess, but he plays the main cop lead in it.
Apart from Stan, I don't think there was. Oh, and Tony Todd.
Ali Larter.
There wasn't anybody else that jumped out to me.
Ali Larter's performance, I don't think is amazing in this film. She ends up playing Claire Redfield in the Resident Evil movies.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, or Clea or Claire. They could never decide on the pronunciation of her name.
It's like Freg and Greg.
Yeah, Clea Rivers, which is a terrible name. Why would anybody in their right mind name their child a pun? Like, it's just not fair, is it?
Wait a minute. What do you mean, Clear Rivers?
Ali Larter's character.
Is that her?
Her name is Clea Rivers.
Okay,
now,
I didn't catch
Alex's
the last
dad
name.
pronounces it as Claire a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it's spelled and written and said by Alex and maybe other characters. It's pronounced as Clea. Clear.
Okay, I didn't
She's
catch.
called Clea Rivers. occasionally pronounced as Claire Rivers.
I see it now. Clear on Wikipedia, as is the go-to for news sources on this show. Her role as Clear, Clear Rivers, and she's in. I forgot she was in part 2.
Yes,
I didn't catch her last name in this film. I thought you were talking about Claire Redfield, but calling her Claire Rivers in the Resident Evil film.
No.
That's where I was getting confused.
No.
She was in Legally Blonde, and that's a good film. So there we go.
Okay, she's known for Final Destination 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Legally Blonde and Obsessed, apparently. I mean, there's maybe seen her in other stuff, but nothing's jumped out.
She, if I remember rightly, she was in a good short of Creepshow, the new TV series. If I remember rightly, the influencer in Haunted House.
Okay, I'm not sure about that. She is one of the thieves, girl gang thieves in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. She's Chrissy, the overly aggressive one.
Well, look at this.
Which is probably where I recognise but Eliza Dushku's in that, and she kind of takes centre stage as far as I'm concerned.
When are we doing Wrong Turn?
Ooh.
Actually, we've got like 7 films to do in that series. We have so many films, we'll never run out of films to do. I mean, that's pretty much our little rundown then of our characters. And we've got Carter's girlfriend, who I didn't really recognize her from anything else.
No.
But Carter, which you were mentioning to begin with. I don't know. I feel like like I said, it's just stereotypes of the times, really.
Mm-hmm. I guess so.
Yeah.
He's very aggressive, though.
He's very aggressive. So aggressive. Like, he really picks on Billy, Sean William Scott, to the point when seen later on after Todd's death, Alex and Claire are sat at the coffee shop middle of the day trying to work out what the hell's going on, and he drives past in his bad boy black muscle car. Yeah. And on the other side of the road, Billy is riding his bike with his groceries. And Carter just sees Alex. Alex doesn't see him, doesn't antagonize him, doesn't do anything. He just gets angry and just...
That's what I mean.
Skirts around, knocks Billy off his bike.
Insane.
For no reason. And even at the end, the final scene, things are good. They're in Paris. But the speculation grows again, and he still gets a bit angry. The anger's coming back again. It's coming back.
Oh, I've got some points about that final scene, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
So some very angry people. There's issues, like I said, new metal. Everybody's mad at the dad. We have the whole plane scene, and the whole French thing. I was like, really annoyed me. But you mean French, apparently. The plane blows up, and there are some survivors. And then we get... it's sort of 2 scenes running side by side. He's doing his research. He's got his best string connected.
Oh, it's Charlie Day.
Conspiracy theory business going on. And then we have Todd having a poo in... the second pooing scene of the film. My notes do just say, do we really need 2 scenes of someone pooing? Apparently
what was that shaver he was trying to use on himself?
Oh, that is an old reusable an old style disposable. So now we have the fancy razors. You've got a beard, as do I. So neither of us really understand razors.
No, I use clippers.
And you've got the Mach 3 and all the fancy ones where you replace the head. It's just an old version of that. So it was a nice metal handle.
Okay.
And you get the old razor blades, and you clip them in, and then use it. And then when it's time to replace it, some old houses, and I think it's particularly one states, in their bathroom, because they'd have built-in bathroom cabinets in the wall, and in the back of the bathroom cabinet, you occasionally get a little slot, and it's to put in the used razor blades, and you basically just drop them into the cavity of the wall. So when they renovate these old houses and old bathrooms, sometimes they'll like rip out a wall and just find hundreds of like rusty razor blades just in the walls.
No, that is wild.
And it's because there's a little, and you get in these old houses, you get these little razor blade disposal slots in the back of their bathroom cabinets. Little random bit of trivia for you there.
Dude, that's fascinating. I mean, like at work, in my workshop, we have we call it like a sharps box. It's just it's like an old, I don't know, it could be anything, a tub or anything, and that's where you put your sharps. You know, then you dispose of. You don't put them in the bin. I had no idea. That's a fascinating fact.
Yeah, it's mad.
That is
great. Look it up because it's genuine. You'll see like video. There's probably some videos on YouTube of people renovating these bathrooms, because it's one of those kind of things where people like, oh my god, it's so creepy. We were taking apart the bathroom. There's like 500 rusty razor blades in the wall, and it's because your bathroom had a little disposable slot.
What is a razor blade slot? Instead of throwing a used but still dangerous blade into a trash can where it could be found by children or pets, shavers could deposit it through this slot into a cavity in the bathroom wall. And there's a picture. Oh my god, it's even embossed. It says razor. This is... Fuck the film. I want to look into this more. This...
So yeah, I've absolutely no idea of it being a thing in this country, but I've certainly seen it.
Well, American built like houses have like, their walls you could get into. So we've seen from horror films and whatnot.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So yeah, it's an old style handle, disposable razor blade razor. That's what he's using.
Well, that's going on the TikTok. Well done. That's fascinating. What do you think of his death, Todd's death?
I like it because it gives us. It's a good introduction. I think it's a good sort of first one to start with, because it's a nice little short chain of events that lead up to him dying. Yeah. If you look at it closely, it falls apart because there's absolutely no way he should have died. Spilled soap and slippy bath aside, there is plenty of room for him to hold himself.
That bothered me. Yeah, how he's being hung.
Bath. Like,
just sit on the side.
Yeah. He shouldn't have struggled as much as he did, and it's scary and a close call, but shouldn't have really been the thing that killed him.
I think the worst part of it, visually, is the bloodshot eyes. That's horrific.
When his eyes just pop effectively,
it's horrific. Really bad. And what's great about it is it's a subtle visual, horrifying visual. It wasn't the wire cutting his throat and then the close up of the flesh. It was just very subtle. It was very good, very well done.
All of a sudden, the pressure just builds in his eyes.
Yeah,
it's red.
And what's also interesting about his death is that, he's established so early on that like he's Alex's best friend. You'd think, he might be in it for the long haul, maybe die towards the end, beginning of the third act, in it for the long haul, not believe Alex at first, but then like, okay, all right, let's see what we go. No, he's gone.
Maybe set him up to do a sacrifice or something like that. Yeah, you'd expect him to last a little bit longer.
No, he's gone. And then maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I didn't think Alex's emotional response to his best friend being killed was, shall we say, just there.
I think everybody's emotional response to people dying around them is a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, like a lot of you've just escaped a plane crash, and people didn't. But then somebody really close to you dies,
Yeah.
and then there's no reaction at all. Something that did really make me laugh about that scene though, when he realizes, because he reads about it in Penthouse essentially.
Yes, he does.
So,
Todd.
just a couple of little things in that. We had some good sort of turn of the millennium internet, which is not quite good enough that you can't get rid of your penthouse that's stashed in your sock drawer.
Oh yeah, we got to keep it in there.
Still need to keep that. Also, that fan that manages to shred
That's
an
insane.
entire magazine.
Why is that in your room?
It's like an industrial. It's like a jet engine.
But it's also got a shield on it, right?
Yeah.
So how does that?
So
how does it?
yeah, it's a very, very, very one in a million thing.
Yeah.
That it went just the right angle to go through. Yeah. And then he gets the one little piece of. I mean, he sat reading the articles in Penthouse as well.
I only buy it for the articles.
He does only buy it for the articles.
Yeah.
And he gets the piece of paper with his friend's name on it, and off he shoots. And when he gets there, Clea is just like peeping from behind a tree, going, "Psst, come here."
Yeah. And it's one tree. It's not like a few bushes around her. It's just this one lone tree. And there's police there as well. Police.
Well, yeah, I guess we should mention as well that Alex is kind of under suspicion that he's involved somehow. Like the feds, the G-men are after him. Because he obviously shouted about the plane was going to explode, gets chucked off the plane, and then the plane explodes. He's a suspicious character, and then his best friend and also fellow survivor of this incident dies in mysterious circumstances.
He's tying up loose ends, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it looks like. And there is it's kind of a weak subplot, but there is a subplot that
it's incredibly weak. But post 9/11. This would be more than 2 agents investigating him. This would be counter-terrorism, domestic terrorism investigation. He would be lawyered the fuck up.
They're 2 very stupid FBI agents as well. They're not intelligent.
Oh yeah, no, completely no.
Dumb as bricks.
Yeah, they may as well be killed off and have like a Die Hard moment. We need more FBI agents. But the whole illogical thing with Alex and his like trying to make them believe. Would anyone really buy someone coming up with Alex's theory and Alex like his excuse? I mean, it's just not plausible, is it? It's not a real thing.
No, it's not. But also, there is absolutely no evidence that he caused it.
No, exactly. So then,
as well,
where do they go from there? Is it just a
what you'd do is you'd say this kid is been severely traumatized by this severely traumatic event he's just been involved in. He should be under medical observation, quite possibly. Not hounding him and accusing him of being a suspect. Because while he's spouting a crazy theory that's not believable, he's also just had his some of his closest school chums explode in front of his eyes.
He does always seem to be at the scene of the crime.
I mean,
he's always run into that. He's always run into a house where something happens, and then he runs away from a house. It's very unfortunate. And
he is. There's a couple that, in fact, we'll talk about it more fully in a few minutes. But Mrs. Luton's death when he inadvertently knocks the knife further in.
So good. Yeah.
It is brilliant. But yeah, he's unlucky that he does happen to be around. But again, they should be treating it more as like a victim, like a suspect in a domestic terrorism case.
Really, rather than we only see 2 FBI agents the whole time. Pretty much, we see the old cop here, but it's just them 2.
Mm-hmm.
So has their boss just been like, you deal with this little minor investigation. You guys, we've got bigger fodder, bigger fish to fry.
So. I guess so.
Yeah, they're not the best, those FBI agents. They're really aren't.
not.
They're really pretty weak. We come to the bus kill next.
Well, first of all, we get Tony Todd.
Yes.
Once best friend Todd dies, we get Tony Todd, the
mortician.
Mortician? He's a mortician rather than a coroner, isn't he?
I believe so. Yes, I do believe so. Yeah.
Apparently his character's called Bloodworth. I really didn't catch the character's name at all.
There is something about his character. I don't know if they're just trying to imply that he is maybe a bit spiritual, or maybe he's not even real. Maybe death has sent him, or
we get a few things in that scene. First of all, we get a little body jump scare with the little corpse twitching. We get Tony Todd being really quite creepy, but I don't know whether that's intention. Well, I mean, I think it's partly because it's Candyman. That I'm sort of projecting like he's scary because he's Tony Todd.
Sorry, he's what? What's Tony Todd?
Candyman.
I'm
not saying it again.
I can't hear you.
I'm not messing with that juju.
Breaking up.
Not saying it again.
You're breaking up. Hey, come in, Aiden.
What was that? Jabbing in my back.
Come in, Aiden. Come in.
Is that a fly behind you, Tom?
Hey, look, if anyone's about to get Final Destination here, it's you with that sword in the background, okay?
But he's very much exposition guy. He basically tells us that, you've broke the pattern, Death's pattern. He had a plan, and he always has a plan, and you can't escape him. And he's gonna, do a quick U-turn, loop back around, and take you out because
he'll get you.
He's a Mac Daddy, apparently, which just takes you out of the moment completely. I wouldn't want to mess with that Mac Daddy. In all references to death and the Grim Reaper I've ever seen.
Once again, I feel like they really honed in on stereotypes, shall we say? On I
think so.
But some not in a good way. But he features in the whole series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware. I'll just chat. But
I don't remember him coming back in any. I mean, I suppose he's a mortician. There's always going to have work.
Well, he basically has his bit scenes where he'll come in for his monologue to basically give the exposition of what's going on. Yeah. He's
the exposition guy to tell people how the Grim Reaper works. But I know what you mean. There's like that because he kind of appears sort of mysteriously. Again, though, morticians working late hours.
Always. Because they break in, right? They climb in through the skylight and stuff. And you get the impression that Clea's a little turned on by the fact that she's breaking and entering into a morgue because she's like, ooh, she's all excited. Clear. I mean, it's definitely spelled Clear. It is. It's
definitely.
It's it's on the credit. Clear.
But I don't know if this is a pronunciation thing where I'm hearing.
Hang on. Clear.
It's meant to be Claire, but
IMDb Clear. CLEAR.
As Crystal, it is the word clear.
She'll end up marrying someone called Greg, probably.
And then Tony Todd, he does just escape, and it's after that scene. It's after the bus.
Yeah, the bus scene.
About the bus.
The bus scene is one of those scenes where it's not like the airplane scene where there's so much build up and then it happens. This is, if you don't catch the premonition that Alex sees, if you're not fully invested and catch that, this is, in my opinion, one of the best jump scares in horror. I think because
this is great.
It's not your ghost going. If you don't catch that premonition, you do not see this coming, and it just happens. It just comes out of nowhere. It's and this is one of those ones where
It's my favorite death in the film, I think.
I think it might be because I think you're right compared to what maybe Miss Luton. I quite like.
I like
that.
Miss Luton for other reasons, but for like impact and because you don't see it coming. I didn't see it coming the first time I saw it. I didn't see it coming when I watched it last night. I kind of remembered it, but it is just bang.
This is one of those ones where you never want to be that person watching a horror film with someone, and you want to be looking over at them, going, "Oh, here we go, here it comes." You want to, but this is one you want to see someone's reaction, the first time reaction to this, because you never get it again. You know it's coming, and when it comes again after watching it for a second time, you're like, "Yeah, woo, there it is." You need that first reaction. It's fantastic, but she's a minor player really in this film. She's just Carter's girlfriend, more like just a little side piece just for the film. She doesn't get that much depth to her at all.
No.
Terry, her name is.
Amanda Detmer.
Yeah. I don't recall seeing her in much else, if I'm honest. Horror related, anyway.
No, her most well-known things are not horror and nothing I've seen either.
It's a lot of TV shows and whatnot.
A lot of TV stuff.
But yeah, she's pretty much there for the most part. Oh my god, she's in Drop Dead Gorgeous. That is a great film. Have you seen?
I mean, more horror-related things. She's in Vampire Diaries, but
I don't know. Drop Dead Gorgeous is pretty good, pretty horror-related when Denise Richards gets blown up. But yeah, she's pretty much there just to calm Carter down.
Yeah. Essentially,
she's just there to calm him down. That is it. And then she just ends up having enough. She having enough, calming him down. And gets wiped out with... What is the speed limit on this road?
Oh, I don't know.
Because this bus...
That is a rogue bus driver.
And it's the same one in Paris later on.
Well, he clearly had to leave town after that incident. Decided to go to Europe.
Yeah, that bus is flying.
And silent running up until that point as well.
Yes, buses are quite loud. They've got
not in movies.
No,
not in movies
really
because
not.
Regina George in Mean Girls see the bus come in when she gets taken out
That's
in a very
true,
similar fashion.
But she makes it. She survives. There's probably nothing left of Terry after this because some of Terry gets splattered onto the cars themselves. And again, after this, they're not really. Oh, Terry's dead. Let's move on. Carter's a strong man, but not emotional. I'm just gonna carve her name with my flick knife. My flick knife that I used to comb my hair.
Yeah, he doesn't. He is like something out of Greece, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like a stereotype from the 50s. He doesn't mention her again until later on when he's tempting his own fate in the car. And he says like, "Oh, I'm going to be reunited with her, so it's all fine. I might as well check out now," or whatever it is that he says.
He kind of accepted death, didn't he? Like he accepted Alex's theory in a way. He accepted what's happening. It's real.
Yeah, the theory. Shall we just talk about the theory or about this premise?
Yeah,
because it feels like it kind of works when it wants to and disappears when it needs to.
In what sense? The theory that the death will get you.
There's a pattern and he saves somebody so it skips them and onto the next one.
The skipping, yeah. And it must keep looping round.
It doesn't quite work. Or it does until it doesn't, because it is going to involve jumping ahead just towards the end.
Yeah, go for it.
But he says, Alex says to Clea, if I grab this cable, you're only going to have a few seconds, but then it's fine, it's done, it's over. And like, based on what? That goes against the entire premise of of what you've told us so far, that it won't be over. It'll just skip.
It's going to keep
start
going
again, and then in that final scene, which we're told is 6 months later, that everything's been fine for that 6 months until Alex just happens to start talking about it again, and then it does, as if Death was like going, "Oh shit, yeah, that's what I was doing."
All the Washingtons outside, and they got to go kill these kids. Like, yeah.
So it's a fun little notion that, you know, Death's got a list, and he likes to do it in a that this group of, like, however many it is, 4 people, 5 people, get pulled out, and, you know, he's got to go back and do them. It should just be indefinite. The sequel should be Alex, like, living in that scene that we get where he's got, you know, he's taped everything down that might move and might fall, and the sequel should be him living that and tell us that he has been doing that for the last 6 months. He doesn't go outside. He tests everything before, you know.
Yeah.
Because Death is literally like waiting for a light bulb to blow so his entire house can go up in flames.
I wonder though if, like, obviously we look in depth to these films, right? We have to. It's our job. It's a lifestyle. But I think for the public at large, they may catch on to that theory, but when you think of that 6 month gap, I don't think that's going to be a big deal for most people. But I agree with you though, for trying to continue your creativity with this plot. You've kind of skipped a beat there. You've kind of missed something there. 6 months and nothing. And what's the reason why it happens now?
Yeah.
Come up with something.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, he starts talking about it again. But
I would have ripped the tag off.
Talking about it again. But they all kind of groan like this isn't the first time he's.
Yeah.
Like, he's not mentioned it in that. So you're telling me he's not mentioned it, and now
once.
he's bringing it up again once, and it's happening again. Because he's clearly still obsessed with it. He's got his list still.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, you can suspend the disbelief.
Yeah, you can.
It's fun. It's not a huge deal. I'm not looking. You know, I'm not getting upset that Final Destination has a plot hole. It doesn't matter.
Fucking Final Destination, yeah. But I mean, something you could have done. 6 months later, he could have had a flight tag on his bag and gone, rip. Call back to the beginning of the film. Things happen again. There you go. There's something at least that it gives a reason as to why nothing's happened in the last 6 months.
Because that's the main bugbear, is that it suddenly just abandons this concept that it's gone to the trouble of telling us and showing us that is what happens.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it just goes, and he's decided. Just decides what the rules are. Oh, if I save you now, then that's the. Like, is it? Why? Why is it?
You're right. It is much more of a decision that gets made on the raw. Like, this is it. This is what's happening, rather than. I think this is what's going on. So we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful. Like, rather than you've got to do this. You've got to do this. Like, you can't even see what's doing this to you.
No. This
is just life domino affecting, like the machine you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And eventually it's gonna get you. But yeah, so he gets the plan of traces of the TV where they finally discover why the plane blew up. It was a malfunction in the fuel line. I can't remember exactly. Line. Yeah, and it shows where it went through the plane. So he traces it and then finds where everyone was sitting. That's how he can work out how it skips, which then led on to Carter accepting his death, but then cheating death, and then skipping to Billy.
Yes.
Billy's death is kind of bland. It's not really a shock. It's not really a shock. Because if you come out with a line going, well, who's next then? Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, we know it's you. Like,
it definitely shows us everything. It's kind of a mashup between the first two, really, between Todd's and Terry's, because we know he's gonna get it. We know Billy, like you say, he says like, "Oh, I'm next." So essentially says, "I'm next." And then we keep getting this repeated shot of this piece of metal, like, waving under the train, and you think, any minute now, that's gonna.
Any minute.
And it does. And it whips his head off. Or half of his head. I think I like it more because it chops through.
Yes.
It separates his cranium from his mandible. There you go. It's only a skull if it's both parts, you know. It's only that's a bit of technical knowledge.
Look at all these facts he's bringing out today. But I wrote that down as well. It wasn't your clean.
It's not
decapitation.
It's not a decapitation through the neck. It's which I like more because it's just a little bit more gruesome. I think.
Completely, yeah. He really, Alex, because obviously Carter is mysteriously locked inside the car on the railway tracks, and Alex eventually saves him and gets him out. But that is clutch. That is to the pinpoint moment the train hits the car, he gets him out. It's very close. So then we're left with our three. We're left with Carter, the bully, Alex, and Claire. Claire. Oh no, Miss Luton. We got to talk about Miss Luton's death.
We've got to talk about Miss Luton. Yeah, should.
That is the way to talk about these films. Yeah, you got the story, the subplot, but you got to talk by kill.
We definitely need to go back and talk about Miss Death because we've mentioned it several times.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is like the big. It's the longest. It's the most elaborate. It's like really big set piece of the film. It's like the centerpiece as far as the the end scene's pretty. There's a lot going on in the end as well, but for somebody that actually does die and isn't saved, it's a big part. So yeah, she gets fucked up in many.
Yeah, she's looking to move, leave whatever. I think they're in New York, New York State. She's looking to move house. She's packing up, and I believe it starts with she pours a cup of tea or coffee. So it's where she sees death in the kettle. Yeah, I'm trying to my brain going through the machine. So the kettle pours it into the cup. The cup that's cracked. Might happen if it's a shit cup.
No! There's something wrong with the tea because she pours it away.
Is it from seeing? Is it from being scared, seeing whatever it is in the? Does she drop the kettle? She gets scared. Something makes her jump and drops the kettle.
But she definitely pours tea, and then pours it away, and then pours. I think it's vodka, and I think what it is, it's the heat. It's the heat of the hot tea, the hot water in the cup. Also, props to an American having a kettle.
Yeah. Right. I've got it up.
It's the heat of the hot water, boiling water, followed by the sudden shock of the cold. It's a shock. It's a frost freeze thaw thermal fracture. That's what splits the cup. It's hot water followed by extreme cold of a bottle of chilled vodka. Or spirit, schnapps, whatever it's meant to be.
A little bit of reasoning, at least, behind it. Yeah, I've got it up now. I've got the scene up now. So she's heating the kettle up. There is a bit I've just noted that we need to talk about in a minute because it was fucking hilarious prior to this death.
Okay.
Yeah, she puts ice cubes in. Oh, yeah, So she's pouring the tea. Poured the tea, picks up the cup.
Makes her throw it away.
So I haven't got the volume on, so it looks even funnier. She's poured the tea, and she's like this. And then just goes... Without the volume, it's hilarious. And then she puts in... Oh, that's why. The cup is her high school, her high school logo on it. Right. I think she sees the logo and is so then she picks up the ice cubes and pours the liquor in.
So so we get a little fracture from that. So then she's trailing. an excessive amount of
How do you not notice that?
whatever it is. Like it's pissing out the bottom of that
It's
cup.
absolutely pissing out, yeah.
Yeah, but essentially she then leaves a little trail of. I mean, what is it? It must be some sort of schnapps. Schnapps is flammable, right? Vodka's not.
Is it not?
I don't think
I'm
so.
gonna, right, let's have a look exactly what our alcoholic teacher is drinking. Right, she's chuck the tea away.
Maybe it is. Is vodka flammable?
What are you drinking, my dear? What are you drinking?
Oh yeah, no, vodka will.
It's
most
alcohol because it's alcohol, right? Alcohol is
Yeah,
flammable.
yeah. Most vodka is the alcohol in vodka ignites, but you need a flame to do it. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's vodka.
I can't really see what it just looks like vodka. It's a clear substance.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even from the first crack, this thing it is vodka. There we go, it's vodka. This
I
thing's
don't know why I
pissing
thought
out.
it wasn't.
But this thing is pissing out, and the fact it's a white mug means you could see a crack. I could see. Oh my god, that crack is massive.
I mean, it's huge. Yeah, it's a massive crack in that cup.
Oh my god, this is even. I'm getting angry now. Right, she leans over the computer like this, the CRT monitor, folks.
Yeah.
Like this. She's looking down the barrel of her mug, going to turn it on, and you can see it dripping out the bottom.
Yeah. You can see it dripping out. You'd be able to hear it dripping out. She hasn't felt it like on her feet or anything. You know what I mean? There's many. Like I said earlier, like it's astronomical odds, but I feel like a lot of the deaths are plausible. You've more chance of winning 15 lotteries in a row, but it could happen. But it does take a big suspension of disbelief with Miss Luton's death that you wouldn't see the amount of neat vodka peeing all over your shoes out the bottom of that mug.
A bit of an idiot as well. Why that CRT is smoking, and she goes right up close to it. No, do not do that, folks.
She does, and it explodes, and she gets a chunk of glass in her neck. Is that what happens first?
Yeah, I believe they probably did the reverse shot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it goes straight into her neck, but they reverse shot it.
And then,
yeah.
And then what happens next? Talk us through what happens.
So
I can't quite remember the sequence.
She is really bleeding out from her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is. God, that's seen. Okay, right.
I tell you what, this is revenge. Death really makes sure he gets Luton. She gets like a lot of like one of these injuries would be enough, but really make a point that she's dying, and it's all because she was extra nasty to that Hare Krishna earlier in the airport. There's no reason for her to be that nasty to him.
After the computer, after the monitor explodes in her face, she's grasping her neck, bleeding out profusely. She goes back to the kitchen, so we're about a room side by side, and the CRT monitor has caught fire from the explosion. As she's walking towards the kitchen, she's got this trail. I mean, it's ignited by alcohol, like snaking towards her, that's lit up. So that shows how much alcohol was spilt. There can't have been anything left in that cup at this point.
No, they can't have been.
And the snakes all the way up to her, goes up the side of the cabinet and ignites the bottle of vodka, and that explodes. Basically made the cocktail.
That's
explosion.
it. Two explosions.
Previously to this, she had put her kitchen towel, tea towel, on top of her knife block.
That's it. She's grasping for the knives. Yes, I remember
that part where she's been the second explosion in the space of about 20 seconds. That's very unfortunate. He goes to try and get the tea towel, but it's on the knife block. How can you not remember that it was there? You literally put it there.
She's just been exploded twice. Got to cut her a little bit of slack.
Well,
and she's still bleeding profusely from the neck at this point as well.
Death does cut her a bit of slack actually next, because she goes to grab the tea towel and it pulls down the knife block. And I think it would have been great if all 5 of them went like just a dartboarded her, but it was just the main one, the main like butcher's knife
I mean,
way
as
into-
much as I like it, I think what would have been better is if it subverted the expectations and it was just a block that hit her in the head and that was it.
caved her in, yeah. But that part though with the knives is you see that coming. You know what's going to happen with that one, and you that's an edge of your seat going, oh, this is going to hurt. Oh, it's coming. Here it comes. Yeah. And it goes straight into her. It's into her chest, literally into the center of her chest. And this is where our homeboy hero turns up and doesn't make it any better. Leaves his fingerprints, leaves his footprint in the blood. Death helps him knock over a chair, which pushes the knife further in.
It goes a little bit Laurel and Hardy, doesn't it?
That is the demise of Miss Luton until she is really dead when the house explodes.
And then the house explodes.
So yeah, Miss Luton gets it hard. She gets it really bad. Because
and it's Billy. Billy meets Alex outside, doesn't he? He runs out.
Billy grasses him up.
He's coming past on his back. So, but just going back to what we were saying earlier about him always being like near the. It must be an incredibly small town because everybody just happens to be near the scene of the crime.
Yeah, they got that one cross section in the town where high-speed buses go, and they've got a few neighborhoods there. Everyone knows where everyone lives.
There's 2 streets of houses. That's
yeah, and there's an international airport down the road.
And an international airport. Yeah, that's normal.
It's probably like JFK.
Look, it's somebody's major project on a town planning degree course.
We need an international airport.
Yeah, somebody's first go on the Sims, Sim City with the cheats on.
All I wanted to point out though, just before her death, so the FBI are questioning Alex. I assume at their office somewhere, which is also in this town, because he gets from the office to her house very quickly. Mm-hmm. He doesn't drive. When he's at her house, he's down by the side of her car, looking at something in the wheel arch. And then I can't remember what he said. Like, what are you doing, Alex? The FBI guys follow him. They trace him. Like, what are you doing, Alex? And I can't remember what he says as an excuse, but it's so lame. It's awful.
I think he's telling. To be honest, I think he's 100% telling the truth. That he's checking her brakes to make sure that they're safe, or checking the car to make sure it's safe. And I think that's genuinely what he's doing because he knows that she's next.
Even if it is, it sounds like a shit excuse to the FBI. Yeah,
it's dodgy as hell, given that he's a suspect in this, perceived crime.
Yeah,
but I do think he's being 100% honest. I can't remember exactly what he says, whether he says he's checking the brakes or he's checking the
I can't remember.
But essentially he says something like, "I'm checking the car to make sure it's safe." But I think 100% that's genuinely is what he's doing, because at this point he knows that she's next on the list. So that's it for the for the deaths, and then we're into the finale, the big storm. Well, it's Alex, isn't it? It's Alex's safety room, believing he's next.
Yeah, which he survives. He survives his safety room.
Well, because he realizes that he's not next, and it's something to do with the fact that he switched seats. I can't remember just how it plays out, but he realizes that it's not him next. It's Claire, Ms. Waters.
Yeah.
So that's when he hightails it over to her house to find that she's worked out that she's actually next because there's electricity going off, and
this somewhat end climax. Big death attempt, big kill attempt. Not as epic as they thought it was, I don't think. I think this felt very flat. I don't find... This is going to sound really lame. I don't find electricity that terrifying in film, like horror films like this. It didn't match up with the other one, all the other deaths, I don't think.
No.
I mean,
No.
she didn't die, but the attempt, at least. It didn't match up with them.
It was, yeah, I know what you mean. Like all the other ones, like we've said, are sort of genuine accidents. Things go wrong, and it's all kind of subtle. Whereas this is like, yeah, Death stamping his feet and having a tantrum, and like just pulls the electricity cable down and starts whipping her and running around the house and chasing her with it. Yeah, it's kind of really, even by the scope of the film, it's far fetched that she ends up in the car trapped by explosives, by electricity. It's all a bit iffy.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's any of the whole foreshadowing earlier on that they reference her metal work, her sculpture. That gets mentioned every now and then. But I mean,
she just happens to be her hobby. Just happens to be twisted metal axe sculpture.
It's so.
Of course, it is.
Yeah, it's very bizarre, very bizarre.
And ultimately, nothing really comes of it. Yeah, it's like, so what?
Yeah, nothing. I'm glad they didn't end it on that. I'm glad there was a little bit more to the film. But yeah, it didn't. I thought that was really a big letdown. Her Death's attempt at her.
It kind of just. I mean, subtlety is not really a word you'd think about when discussing the Final Destination films, but all the subtlety goes out of the window. And I suppose it has to be climactic to some degree, but
yeah,
it all just feels a bit messy. That it plays out in the way that it plays out, and she ends up in the situation that she ends up in.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Clear survives, and we fast forward, like you said, to 6 months.
6 months later, and yeah, as we have already said, like it's just not clear how the cycle is broken, and remains broken for half a year.
No,
and
yeah,
then
not at all.
Just kicks back in again for this sort of post-credit thing. The ending's very off, isn't it? Really, when you think about it, it's all just
it is. It is
a bit iffy and a bit weird and a bit rushed, forced. I don't know what the right word is, but yeah, it's like they wrote an ending and went, we'll try this, and no, we've got sequels planned, so we need to do something. Yeah, it's all just a little bit messy.
Well, especially as the fact is, Clear survives, and she's in part 2.
She does survive. She is in part 2.
And I can't remember if in part 2 they reference if Alex is still alive or not. So
I can't remember either.
If
Carter, have a quick look.
Carter is no if Carter dies off screen at the end of this film. I mean, then what happens to their cycle? Because a new cycle starts in part 2. Like you said, it's a bit loose there with the rules.
It is. I mean, really, what they should have done is even keeping the 6 months is just wipe all of them out and start again. Final.
Yeah, kill them all.
New bunch, kill them all.
Agreed.
No need to continue it, and there's really no need to continue it.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Todd. Yeah, Tony Todd is in the second one.
Yeah, he's in. I think he's in all of them.
Oh God, talking about lookalikes, there's an actor. Oh, maybe not so much. I was going to say, talk about our young David Duchovny. There's Brad Pitt, but it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just skimming. Oh, here we go. At the end of Final Destination, Alex has just been saved. So Clea was next, but after that, someone could have saved Clea so that it skipped her again. And then Alex died after that. Since Clea says she and Alex cheated death dozens of times, it must have even jumped back and forth between them several more times. So there maybe is some reference to what happens.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just skimming a little mini review on IMDb, so I'm not entirely sure what happens. But based on that little bit of dialogue, it does suggest that there's maybe a reference to what happened.
Okay. Yeah. How? So, oh yes, sorry, Alex. I was trying to think of what started the final death for Carter. It's the premonition again of. It's clear seeing it now. She I'm fairly certain she sees the bus in the window.
She, in the second one, you mean?
No, doesn't she see the premonition when they're in Paris at the end, or is it? It's not Alex again. They're talking about it, but I'm fairly certain she sees a premonition. Got it up here.
You know what? I can't remember. I remember Alex reacting to things. He sees a pipe rolling down the scaffold. He sees the bus rev its engine. He sees one of those gas warmer, patio warmer things like flare up.
Yeah.
And we see him reacting to that. But are you saying it's her watching him reacting to all that stuff and it's her premonition? I can't quite remember.
I think so. I've got it up now. I'm just having a look.
I didn't notice, to be quite honest.
There's wind blowing. Alex is looking distraught. There's a meat van. Yeah, there's the pipe.
Oh yeah, that's the thing with the meat hook and the.
Yeah.
I thought it was him.
Yeah, it could just be him then. I'm fairly certain she had somewhat of a premonition.
Because it is him all the way through, isn't it? Nobody else gets a premonition. We know that like Luton sees death and the shadow and stuff, but nobody else has a full on. What's the word? Precognisance? Is it something like that?
That's a nice big word. That'll do.
It's something like that.
Yeah. And then I mean, we as the viewers see the big when the camera pans down in this scene, the big neon lit sign. I can't remember what it says, and you're like, that is the one thing that is standing out in this scene. Something's happening with this sign.
Yeah,
obviously, and eventually it does kill Carter off screen and fade to black. Yeah.
And that is the end of Final Destination.
It really is a film to discuss just by its kills, really.
I loved it.
It's great fun.
I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it.
It's great fun.
But yeah, definitely, it is killed. It's a popcorn movie, isn't it? And it is date night popcorn movie. You want to go. You want people get killed in inventive ways. And you definitely get that. The plot is really straightforward. The setup is, in fact, you don't really. I don't think you really the setup. It's all kind of obvious, and I kind of felt like it had been explained. I mean, this was somewhat of a hit, right? It must have been to get the amount of sequel it did.
I believe it did very well. Yes,
I remember this being like a talked about movie when it came out. And I feel like I knew what the premise was.
Yeah.
And the plot was very clearly before I saw it because people talked about it.
That's the thing. The difference between a premise and a plot. The premise of this film is the same for every film, near enough. The plot is what's quite thin because there isn't much because they're focusing on the premise, like the
specifics of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew what it was, what was going to happen. Well before I saw it, I feel like this was something that was talked about a lot. And it is, it's great fun, but new, like we were saying earlier. It feels like a haunted house movie. It's got some of that same setup of, it could be like Todd's death, for example, could quite easily fit into a Conjuring movie or something like that. As a ghost did it. And arguably with the one thing that I don't really like about that is right at the end of the scene to like retreat back into the pipe. So we see when he's sat in the toilet, the valve breaks and it starts leaking out and stuff. And then we see it, and okay, it's taking some liberties. It's taking a very direct path towards him and all that sort of stuff. But you
I agree.
Go, all right. But then they chose to like show it retreating, and it's like they shouldn't, because that makes it a little bit too well. That pushes it definitely into that sort of supernatural.
Why would it go back? Yeah, why would it go back?
Rather than it being like, you know, a freak accident that we know is death, but you know, for all intents and purposes and
it's like he's
within the movie, it's just an accident.
It's like he's clearing all traces of death being there, like, you know,
like his supervisor's going to be checking up.
Like, I gotta you know, get the prints off this gun or something, you know, wipe it down. Or got to get rid of all this evidence.
Which is I didn't feel that was necessary, but that aside, or even that included, I guess there's bits of it that look like it's a haunted house movie and could be, you know, a ghost that's picking people off. But it isn't, and it is this, you know, the Grim Reaper, who we don't ever really see, but that is the antagonist, and that is the, you know, the effect.
What if you did say Todd's kill? It was more of just Death setting it up. Like, he was in the bathroom. Oh, he slipped around, didn't fall over, didn't crack his head. Death sort of toying with him, and then later on, Todd starts to see weird things happening to him, and it happens again. Another weird, and they start to
little accidents, like they all have these little.
The characters start to get a bit crazy, suspicious, and going, "I'm telling you, something's wrong, and then people start to get picked off.
Yeah, maybe.
Rather than it's constantly Alex trying to. I'm telling you, this is what's happening. Rather than looking like the crazy person, more people are like, no, this is what's
the thing
happening.
is, the only people really that think he's the crazy person it's the FBI, it's the authorities. Like, his friends get on board with it pretty quick.
Carter and Billy don't. I don't think. Much.
I mean, I don't think we see Billy enough. And
we don't actually know.
And Carter's, you know, clearly he has beef with Alex, so he's initially it. But once Terry dies, it's. I mean, maybe they are more resistant to it, but it doesn't feel like they are. You know what I mean? I think it feels like everybody gets on quickly. Apart from these two ineffectual FBI agents who are convinced that he's a psycho. Or something.
Yeah. Well, one of the FBI agents is like, that guy gives me the creeps. He kind of believes him a little bit. He has a hint of believability about him.
But again, that's just because they ignore all rational thought and the fact that this kid has just survived a major, you know, accident.
Yeah.
But it's minor. It's minor nitpicky. You know, it works for what it is, and I think it was refreshing. I remember it being time, different concept. It wasn't a mass killer picking teens off.
No, it's different. Yeah, it's nice and different.
It wasn't a haunted house movie. I feel like we were just before the big haunted house supernatural horror craze. We've not had the Conjurings or any of those sorts of films, I don't think.
No, I don't.
We were on the back end of slashers.
90s slashers, yeah.
90s slashers.
Yeah, we were, yeah. I think The Conjuring is late 2000s.
Scream and Cherry Falls and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, Conjuring's 2013, so yeah, we're way before that.
I can't think what the big trend was that.
Let's have a look. 2000
that came out.
Horror movies.
So post 90s slashers, pre Paranormal Activity and paranormal movies, I guess. Found footage stuff.
I tell you what, we did start getting is the remake era.
Okay.
We got the Dawn of the Dead. We got Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We got Rob Zombie's Halloween. We eventually then got 2010, I think it was, Nightmare on Elm Street. So we got a good remake era. Looking at it here. Yeah, Yeah, not too many big. Heroes Have Eyes remake, which I love.
I guess that's it then. It's remakes, isn't it?
House of Wax remake.
Mm-hmm.
The Ring remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's go with that, shall we, for the 2000s?
I think that's a reasonable thing. I mean, I'm just skimming through general 2000s movie releases,
Same.
and horror generally is light on the ground. It seems to be, so it must be. It
wasn't big, was it? Wasn't too big. I mean,
it seemed to be.
There it is, right there. Saw, Saw. Fresh concept.
So we'll go with that as remake. So this is even more so. This was something unique.
Yeah.
For the time, and
Good pick.
We'll be continuing to watch through. It was my pick, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Yeah, my pick's a little bit different to this.
Well, I'm glad. I'm happy that not that it wasn't another flop, but
I'll put it on the list.
but it does stand up to my. In fact, maybe even does better than my memory. I think I enjoyed it a hell of a lot. I remember kind of liking it. Thinking, I'll do that. When I watched it last night, I really thoroughly.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed it more than I remember. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah.
Really glad to watch it again. It was a good one to go back to.
Yeah, I don't think I have any bad thoughts about this film. To be fair, it's a good, fun film, and yeah, I say good pick. My film choice for this month being Idle Hands, which is in 2 weeks' time. A little bit different to this. It's a bit more. It's fun, but in a different way. It's silly.
I'm looking forward to it.
Silly horror. It's horror comedy. It's silly. It's fun. Devon Sawyer again, Jessica Alba and The Offspring, and Seth Green. You know, it's very much the late 90s.
Of its time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so of its time.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that much, much more than the Saw effort.
Well, seeing as you've said it, yes, folks, if you're still here with us after 2 hours, thank you very much. Next week, we will be talking Saw X, Saw 10, or Saw 1.5, whatever you want to call it. I have seen it. Aidan is yet to see it, but we'll be seeing it. Mm-hmm. I have thoughts and opinions on it that I will address next week. Yeah, looking forward to that chat.
I wish I could say the same.
Keeping a straight face.
I know
here.
You're not going to give anything.
Keeping it straight. Well, did you see? I did quickly do a little tweet on the Dreadcast Twitter. That is, you can find the Dreadcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at _Dreadcast. I did a quick little ranking just of the mainline Saw films and what I would put at the top, leading to the bottom. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't think I did. I've been, to be honest, with preparing for the interview and stuff. I've been kind of off social media this week. In a large part.
So I don't know if your eyes are going. I don't know if you're looking right now. I purposely didn't write any opinions on the Twitter because I knew we were recording an episode on it, so I held off. But I did give my ranking of the mainline series.
Let's bring this up. Let's have a quick.
October 2nd, so you got to scroll down a few days.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty much my Saw ranking of the mainline franchise is in order of release. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, but between 3 and 4 is where I'm slotting number 10. Then we go 4, 5, 6. So yeah. But
not a complete write-off.
No, we'll return to that next week, and hopefully we'll get your ranking, and we'll see what you think. Looking forward to it.
Fair enough. Right then, shall we wrap things up then?
Yes, we can indeed. We can get the hell out of here. I am gonna assume we don't have any mail, but I will check.
If you do want to send us mail, the address for the old file feels really old-fashioned. old-fashioned, old-timey email is thedreadcastpod@gmail.com. Always, as I always say, we would love to hear from you. Thoughts, opinions, recommendations. If you've seen any trashy, weird merchandise out in the wilds, that's a new thing that we'd love to hear from you about.
Nothing this week, folks. Nothing this week, folks.
Well, make sure you follow the new TikTok, because
yes, do it.
If you dock with the talk, you should definitely check that out. I swear I've heard kids saying that.
Oh wow! If you dock with the talk,
What about
if you dick with the tick?
That works as well. I haven't heard as many saying that, but I'm sure the cool kids. That's what the cool kids say.
Just like us.
It's been a pleasure, as always, Tom. Talk about the old horror movies with
absolute pleasure.
Films.
Absolute pleasure. And again, a few things we need to talk about offline. I already have some ideas for the rest of the year. So, speaking of the rest of the year, but the rest of the month, we have Saw 10, Idle Hands, and to cap off the October for your Halloween treat, Halloween 6, the curse of Michael Myers. And it is a curse. It is one hell of a curse. I look forward to that. All right, let's get out of here. Wunderbar.
Till next time, gang. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.